see what I'm saying? 800 side effects. So this whole concept here, so they were talking about this whole diabetes thing and all, and this is very key. This is very key that at this particular time, we don't need but a certain amount of things. Give you an example. Now we do know, and I talked about this in the in the conference, and I talked about this I think even last year when I said that I went to the doctor and my blood pressure, that shit, it wasn't even on the charts. They didn't even have no numbers for it damn near. They were like, your shit, Dr. Richard was like, your shit is high as hell. And I told him, I said, well, and so the sister Shantae, she took my high blood pressure. She was a little psychic, and the stuff shot up again, and she looked at me and said, you don't got no high blood pressure. And the spirit had already told me that that's the Kundalini energy. Now, even Laila Africa talks about it, that the black person's high blood pressure is different than white people's high blood pressure. You see what I'm saying? It's different than white people's high blood pressure. Well, then again, on the other hand, our entire bodies are different. And what I found out was also, now there's a key here, that when you rise in spirituality, that your blood pressure automatically goes up. Automatically goes up. Now I thought this was very key because they've been on this campaign since the 70s, trying to get black men to have checkups. Now this don't make no sense. First of all, you locking up a nigga for running a red light, he get 10 years. You know what I'm saying? They're killing people wholesale. They're killing black people to go into the dogma hospital, but yet they're concerned about the black man having a checkup. Don't make no sense. See, to me, if he gonna drop dead anyway, you can say, well, hey, we could discourage them not to have checkups and they're gonna all drop dead. Obviously, they want you to have a checkup because they're trying to stop something. They're trying to stop something. And this is some of the main mysteries that I was dealing with, some of the main mysteries that I've been having to deal with, especially the last 2 years, but especially the first of this year. Now the key here is, when the Kundalini energy rises, the first thing that rises is the blood pressure. And I explained it in the conference, but to go back through this, you have different types of melanin in the body. The melanin is not just this carbon substance, it is a composite of different substances. And they talk about a lot of this in your in the cedar alchemy of India, which in regular alchemy they talk about, you know, mercury, they talk about sulfur, iron, different types of things on these particular layers. But in alchemy in India, which is coming out of Ethiopia, Kush, cedar alchemy, they talk about Kalis, Ojas, Gunners, Russells, Tammers, and these particular alchemical forms of energies are substances in the body, but they're throughout the entire body. The key here is, by them being throughout the entire body, they're dormant in certain areas because they're not mixed together with each other. So as a result, when you start going up a spiritual path, what starts to happen is your heartbeat number one magnifies and starts pumping at an enormous rate, so the blood system can travel on a higher velocity or a higher speed, and as a result, these alchemical energies mix together, and as a result, when it mixes together, it harnesses the soul or the heart chakra, and therefore you start to illuminate. So as a result, you start having so-called high blood pressure, not because of the whole sodium and all that type of stuff. You start having the doggone high blood pressure because of this alchemical transformation that's going on in your body. Now the key here is, some people say, well, wait a minute, hold on, because we do have a lot of black people having strokes. The mystery here is not that the high blood pressure is abnormal. The mystery here is that you have the stroke or you stroke out based on dehydration. So, in a normal culture, if you didn't have processed foods with as high on salt, wouldn't stroke out. Or if you, in a normal culture where water was a form of your diet, was a main key to the diet, and the water you drink out the faucet wouldn't dehydrate you. You wouldn't drink sodas half the time, that would also dehydrate you, or alcohol dehydrates you. So the key here is the mystery is not necessarily that they're stroking out based on high blood pressure. They're stroking out because they're being dehydrated based on when the blood pressure goes to a certain level, you have to drink more water. So the mystery here is, because my point is somebody said, you know, some people have high blood pressure, they never get it down. Well, shit, women, hold on. There's nothing that can't be reversed. But they say they got people that's got to be on medication for the rest of their life. Well, I want to know what they was doing in 1865. You understand what I'm saying? If this thing was happening, but it wouldn't get noticed for the simple fact that they would drink more water. Or even if they just drank regular aspect of water we drink now, the processed foods is all based on sodium. So the people are stroking out. Now remember now, they said that when they did the survey on black people in America in the 1960s, late 1960s, early 1970s, they said that the best diet in the world was the African in America, black people in America. They did a because although we might ate pork, we ate 3 times as much greens. You understand what I'm saying? Because we weren't that far removed from, although we might have ate a lot of rich food, our vegetable intake based on them damn greens. You see what I'm saying? We weren't that far removed from a farm society. Remember now, we was a farm society. We were shut out of America 50 years of the whole, or 60 years of the whole 20th century. So that means that our diet was different. You see, so that means that the whole high blood pressure and stroke thing didn't start coming until the mid-70s when we entered America and we started getting on the processed food, which means more salt. So going back to this, the high blood pressure has nothing to do with your blood pressure go up and therefore you're going to stroke out. You stroke out or you have all this other stuff, heart attacks and all that because you don't have enough water. You see, I even got an internet piece. And I've been talking about this water thing for like 5 years now. But I got an internet piece recently, and they're showing that the water creates a pulsation in the body equivalent to a black hole or a star. So in so many words, it is the direct fuel that the soul needs. Other than the blood, it is the direct fuel, more so because the blood is mainly for the body, but it also carries the alchemical elixirs. But water is the direct fuel that the soul needs. As a matter of fact, do you know that the Kundalini energy produces water? That's why in the Bible it says, I will give you the water of life. They even talk about the water of life in the movie Doom. But I said, I need to find out what the water of life is. The water of life is damn H2O. You see what I'm saying? Was H2O. So the key here is, you stroke out because of dehydration. And that's one of the keys, which is going back to this heartbeat when we get into this stuff tonight and all. That's one of the main keys on this heartbeat is one of the centers to get this particular alchemical flow working in you. Now, I don't know, but how many people within the last couple of months have been having rapid heartbeats? And anybody's heart's been palpitating real high and all. If it has, that is because of the cycle that you're in now. And like I said, it's me. I can run down the street and don't get nothing, but can lay down and the damn heart just go racing. You know what I'm saying? So most of your heart race, if you're doing something, real fast, or, doing something, on an exercise level, then your heart starts to racing. Or a big shot, but hell, as soon as I go to sleep and get calm, my heart cut off. You see what I'm saying? Going into that particular science, we'll go back into that in a few minutes. Now, I want to deal with a couple other things right here. Because they had a whole conference about AIDS in Africa. The UN had this conference about AIDS in Africa. Now here's the key. Bush said, we're going to remedy the AIDS in Africa by 2015. 2015. Now hell, they got 75,000 Africans dying a month. They say they're going to lose 75,000. That's on the whole continent. 75 a month on the whole continent. But in South Africa alone, they say they're going to lose 75,000 Africans this year. Yet Bush said that we're going to get on top of this thing by 2015. That means that they don't plan on no Africans being on the damn continent. You're going to take, wait a minute, they 75,000 a damn month? Can you imagine what will happen in 15 years? But nobody asked this question. This is the question that we need to ask. Africa is a damn continent. Why is it that if they got AIDS that has hit damn near every black population on the continent? Why is it that none of the Arab population on the damn continent got AIDS? And then right next door, you got doggone Algeria, you got Morocco, you got doggone Libya, you got Hemmitt or Egypt now, you got some forms of the Sudan. No AIDS amongst the Arab population whatsoever. But seeing that anybody with a black skin got AIDS, some people say, well, that's a different culture. Wait, but hold on now. Because you got half the ones that's in this next to Libya, and half those particular populations of black are Arab populations also. You got Chad. Chad is an Arab population. You know what I'm saying? You got part of Nigeria. You see what I'm saying? You got whole West African cultures that's a part of the Arab population. You know? But yet, the Arabs don't have it. These are nastier people. That's right. And our Africans ever, these motherfuckers still wipe their hand with their butt. Wipe their butt with their hand. Yes, sir. We talking about that white Arab. That's right. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with brotherhood with the black Arab. Anybody fool enough to think that now, you just need to just go ahead and go on over there and let them kill you. Or put you in slavery like they doing in Mauritania and stuff like that. But the point I'm trying to make here, nobody asked that question. Nobody asked the question if they're gonna kill 75,000 South Africans gonna die at the end of the year. Why ain't no white South Africans got the shit? You understand? You know what I'm saying? They might already seen the media will spill over. They don't ever tell you that this thing is being riddled. White South Africa's being riddled with this thing. White South Africa don't have no AIDS. You know, and then they have a special on about South Africa and how better it has become in apartheid. So in so many words, apartheid, they're talking about how half of them didn't have electricity in the 80s, and now they got electricity. Half of them didn't have this and all. I'm like, well fine. You got a Louis, it's the same shit they did with us. You know what I'm saying? But the key here is they're killing you by the doggone thousands with the AIDS thing. But then again, we got to understand this particular science too now. Now, the science of polling is whenever you announce something, you can start killing people. So all of a sudden, they done came down and they announced that Black America is rampant, riddled with AIDS. That the AIDS population is off the hook in Black America. Now they sitting up here at Morehouse and they got the biggest pimp ever known to man. King. Right. This ain't a pimp ever known to man. She need to get her damn Eldorado. That's right. Big ass hat. Right. Fucking jumpsuit. Yeah. And get the term, bitches better have my money. If anybody ever pimped her husband, right. She the biggest pimp ever was. That's right. King, you know. That's right. Key I'm trying to make here is they got all these Negroes in Morehouse 2 weeks ago. And they're sitting up there. And I'm trying to say, either it's a mad world. Either we just, they sitting up there talking about the Black America. Now, first of all, they're going to accept what the CDC says. About Black America is #1 with AIDS. They got to make up their mind. First they said it was the black woman. Then they turned around and said it was the black man. Now they're saying, it's Black America. I'm like, wait a minute, hold on now. They're going to sit up here at Morehouse and say they want to ask the government for $1 billion to help. And I'm saying, wait a minute, a lot of people are punks. Now I know damn well in that audience, right there at Morehouse, there got to be at least one person that knows that this is a biological warfare It's going down.
Right.
Somebody got to know that this is biological warfare.
Right.
And you mean to tell me we're so punctified that we sitting in the audience and nobody get up to the podium and go, come on now. Even if you want to be conservative about it and you go, hey, we have to consider some form of genocidal measurement on this, being that it's white people ain't getting it and no other person getting it. You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
And you know, white people into all kind of freaky shit.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? But nobody in that audience is gonna stand up. I know damn well there's got to be one person that this shit is going through their head. Even in question and answer, somebody stand up and go, do you think that the government is giving it to us? And you mean to tell me out of a couple of 100 people that was in the audience, nobody stood up? You mean to tell me this is on people's mind and they got an AIDS form and nobody entertained this? And we already know how the Negroes is thinking. Well, number one, now this is the psychological part. We don't have no proof. Wait a minute. If the man is your biological open enemy,
right,
what do you need proof about? Somebody tell you, look, somebody coming to shoot you in your ass in a few minutes. Now you already know that you got an altercation with that nigga downtown. You know that nigga famous for shooting somebody in their ass. Even if you didn't directly see him shoot nobody in the ass, you understand what I'm saying? Do you need proof? If a person is your enemy, you don't need proof. Does this cracker need proof to say that you are a murderer, you are this and you that, and he said your shit every day?
right,
He don't need no proof. This is the concept I'm trying to say. They got Negroes, man, so brainwashed now. Oh, we don't want to say that because we don't have no proof. The proof is you got a billion niggas dying.
right.
Nobody thought about this. Why don't somebody stand up and go, listen, I don't have to have no proof. You crackers are killing us. Do you think any other group would wait around for the data to come in?
Right.
We are some insane, this is a mad, mad world. We've seen the enemy, and the enemy is black people. Black people are the damn enemy. Let's face it. All these black people, so-called educated niggas up in there, and nobody. Now we know these same damn niggas are getting another meeting the same day in a little room with some students talking about genocide.
Right.
But yet they get their chance to come up against the man and go, we know this. You know? That's the same thing they did when the cracker told you, hey, listen, we put drugs in the black community, and we say, why don't you investigate yourself? Motherfucker come back and say, I see no wrongdoing.
Right.
I mean, dumb shit. Give me some dumb stuff that went on. Now, I'm from South Carolina. They had a flag that was on top of the Capitol. The flag was about this big. Because you couldn't even see it. They had the regular state flag, which is not like Georgia's. Georgia Confederate flag was embedded in the state flag. South Carolina got a palmetto tree, a moon, and a crescent, star, and a crescent, I think, and a blue flag. The doggone Confederate flag only flew on the state house, and it was so high till it was this big. Nobody could see. Somebody had to make mention that there's a Confederate flag on top of the Capitol. These crackers said, we're going to show how stupid Negroes are. These fools march a whole year, a.k.a. shut down their convention. The golf festival stopped. We lost a lot of money in our community. You don't damn boycott your shit when you boycott somebody else's shit. That's the whole reason for a boycott. You don't supposed to suffer in the boycott. You ever heard something as dumb as this shit? You know what I'm saying? So, they do this whole thing a whole year. The cracker said, we're going to show you how dumb and stupid Negroes are. They had, now remember now, the only flag that they was marching by was one that was on the State House. Okay? That's the only one. They said, okay, we're going to pass it off. Okay, we'll take it down. The black people say, good, we won this shit. They say, but we want to pass the law that the flag can only be thrown on Confederate symbols. Black people say, good. The damn flag that used to be on the top of the State House is right down in the middle of the fucking street for everybody to see on the Confederate statue. That means if you got a house that was made prior to 1865, you can put the damn flag on your house now. Now a flag that wasn't visible, if you got a Confederate symbol or Confederate statue, you can display the flag all over the damn state. Here was a flag that was damn near gone. And now, the black people have passed the damn law to display the flag all over the state. Dumbass niggas. You know, just stupid. This is madness. This shit gets mad. Now, it's interesting because these white people, about the first of the year last year, they just came out and just told stuff. They got this thing coming on PBS called Before Stonewall and After Stonewall. It's about the homosexual movement in America. And this shit ain't even about being gay or nothing like that. They ain't got nothing to do with that. It came on a couple of times. I clicked from it about 2 or 3 times. One time they said, you need to watch this shit because they're going to drop some stuff. Stonewall is this thing about the history of the homosexuals in America. These crackers came out and said, look, we was in the closet, wasn't going to come out the closet. We couldn't get no leverage. We went to doggone McCarthyism 50s. You're talking about, if they say you're a communist, you better not say you're gay. They say that they didn't have no leverage. You know what I'm saying? The people say, okay, we recognize you being gay, you can get in your section and that's it. They said we didn't have no leverage whatsoever. Then they say, until the civil rights movement and all the black movements came down, and then as a result of that, they can go and they can start marching, and they were saying that it wasn't until the civil rights movement until they got leverage to become a strong force that's got more legitimacy than you now. Then they say they were still kicking them up the butt, they was killing these white people. They was killing them because it's like Kwame Ture said, well, first of all, that's not our culture. We ain't never gay bash nobody. They said that's not our culture. We wasn't even hostile towards gay. They say, well, you mean they wanted the civil rights, they wanted the black power thing to go with the what you call, but that was the white gay culture. They said we don't have a problem there. They said because James Baldwin was gay, and everybody knew James Baldwin was gay, and we accepted James Baldwin as one of the doggone 4 leaders in the front and in the head of the whole civil rights movement. So we ain't never gay bash nobody. You understand what I'm saying? We accepted James Baldwin, and everybody knew James Baldwin was gay. You see what I'm saying? So that's your culture. But anyway, they were getting beat over the damn head. And then they said, because, okay, they had a little bit of gay movements going on. Cracker said, nah, that still ain't no. We gonna still kick them in the ass. They said that they were getting beat over the head until Martin Luther King got killed. And then the doggone riots, black people start burning up the cities of America. And one day they say, hey, based on these riots, we ain't gonna take this shit. And they did one riot called Stonewall. And after Stonewall, motherfuckers say, you better back up because these gay motherfuckers might fight. So they was even saying that even when it comes to the Stonewall thing, it took the black people to get into the riots and get into the doggone little warfare in the streets that even prompted them to go and do something about it. See, always do. And even Tip O'Neill said, well, only thing I can say in all my years of service when he retired in the late 80s is that you had the civil rights movement and all these other movements, and the only people, and every single person in America benefited from it but black people. He said, if there's any legacy that I can say that I saw some stuff go down, he said it would be that. You see what I'm saying? He said it would be that. And so it's interesting how even that, in so many words, that when you really look at it, the only movement they had in America was the black movement. So they try to run with that Vietnam shit and that hippie shit. You know what I'm saying? But what about Korea? You know what I'm saying? No, they can run that old Hitler stuff. But my point here is, the only black movements that they had, only time they was ever taught to even stand up with a movement, period, was not. So movements in America had nothing to do with white people. They had a little bit of protest, but it wasn't until black people in this country even taught white people to stand up against political tyranny, which they do today. It only came down through doggone black people. You see what I'm saying? Now it's interesting here because they talking all this Pearl Harbor bullshit, and we know that was America blew up their own stuff, right? Told the Prime Minister of Japan to come over and blow up Pearl Harbor. They didn't say hit the mainland. They say hit Hawaii. They ain't been a state but a few months any damn way. So they blew up. We know that they need to get in the war, and we know that they used Pearl Harbor to do it. My point here is this. Wasn't it the Emperor of Japan that blew up Pearl Harbor? The Red Sun, the Emperor of Japan? Well, didn't they let the damn emperor go free? After World War II? Right. Didn't the emperor go free? They killed a few Japanese, but didn't they let the emperor go free after World War II? So if they let the emperor go free after World War II, you see what I'm saying? That proved that the emperor and all that was in on the whole bombing of Pearl Harbor, and that whole shit was faked. You see, very key on how this cracker is actually doing something. Now, they had one guy stood up in this AIDS conference saying that the Caribbean is second to sub-Saharan Africa in AIDS. Now wait a minute, this shit seems to follow our ass. Now they just announced CDC, America is plagued with it, black America. And yet, this guy just came and said that the Caribbean is second to sub-Saharan Africa in the Caribbean. See, so everywhere there's black people, this thing seems to happen. And it's supposed to be a non-discriminating disease. Right. And nobody else. But then they just announced that China, now it's interesting, you got Japan, you got all the way in blue, Vietnam and the smithereens. But you know, China is an untapped source. They got that nigger element still over there. They got some pyramids over there as big as the ones in damn Hemmitt. Bigger. But yet now they're saying that China is doggone riddled with AIDS. You see what I'm saying? So this cracker has got an all-out assault. You see, it's going down right now. A doggone all-out assault. It's amazing. Now, they came on Nightline and they was talking about this show called Fear Factor. Anybody seen this shit? Man, this white boy is out of his mind. White boy got a show called Fear Factor. Come on Mondays on NBC. For $50,000, you gotta get in a damn a tank with about 200 big ass rats. The one, you gotta get in a tank with about 8 million maggots. Hey. I mean, big ass maggots. For $50,000. They had shit that was funny. They had a black man, he was acing out shit. He was cool, all the white people was looking up to his ass. And they had the little tank. All the little white girls got in the tank. All the white boys got in it. And I mean, these rats was biting their skin, biting their toes. The rats was gnawing on them. It was down there about 75 rats. I mean, big ass rats. They was covered in rats. They got to that black man, he's like, I ain't getting in that goddamn rat tank. That black man said, no. I said, if this man, if he get in that tank, he a clone. Now, I know Negroes now. Nigga ain't get in no tank with no damn rat. I know. Hell, I had a damn house when I was in college and had a little rat called Elroy. That motherfucker didn't come out till the girl got in there and got on the bed. And his ass would show up. And that was the end of my shit. She saw a rat in the damn house. And my shit was through deed. He was a little mouse. But hell, here it is. said, I ain't getting up in there. And every white person got up in there. Then they had one where they got snakes. And they got one where they had these big ass brown maggots. Looked like they had to be some shit for. It wasn't no blowfly shit. It was some elephant maggots. They looked like worms. They was maggots though. And they had to get in a tank covered with about 1 million of these damn things. And 2 white boys got in there. The white girl said, I don't mind getting in the tank, but I'm a vegetarian. If I gotta eat one, I got to go. So because she was a vegetarian and she pulled the thing where she had to eat one, she broke down crying, running out the damn place. I'm like, shit, you get ready to get in there, you might as well eat one. And she broke down crying, and so Nightline came on and said, is this the end of civilization? They say, but they said it's even worse. They say they got some shit over in Europe that's even worse. They say this was conservative, the rats and the maggots and the snakes. They say they got one in Europe where they vomit on your ass. Shit on you and all kind of stuff. They had the Humane Society, whatever European Humane Society had come in and shut them. Them motherfuckers were getting shit on, vomited on for like the $50,000 or $20,000. And so they were saying on Nightline, they say, have we reached the end of, we are at the end of civilization. They said the American public, they said we thought it was bad with Jerry Springer. Jerry Springer was dignified compared to this shit. They said, but America will do anything for money. They said, are we at the end of civilization? So they had the guy Kurt Vonnegut on there, famous writer. Son did Slaughterhouse 5, the movie Kurt Vonnegut. They asked him, you think it's the end of civilization? Kurt Vonnegut said, who in the hell said you had a damn civilization in the first damn place? He said, who said you had a civilization in the first place? He said, civilization is not a national phenomenon. He said, this was a continent. Civilization exists only in little pockets. So who the hell you thought said that America got a civilization in the first damn place? You know what I'm saying? But they showing that this shit here, they show that people will do anything for money. Now, these are white people who are used to money, especially the ones they got left. You see? So if they doing this stuff and they used to money, can you imagine what Negroes will do? Because it seems like me, other than some rats, you know, other than some rats, we even got some now that even do that shit. Whereas they'll do anything. They were showing this thing on the actual Nightline. They was complaining about this thing. Now, there's something that we've noticed that's going on in the AU Center. That it's a survey and it's a case study that 2 generations that you can compare things with. We can go from any generation from the, let's say the 1940s on in. Let's say from 1940s to the mid-1980s, or let's say to the latter part of the 80s. Then you got the ones from the latter part of the 80s into the 90s, and we noticed something that occurred based on a cultural difference, behavior patterns and mannerisms based on music. You go to the AU Center, it's different than even when I was in college. Most of our time was spent, our leisure time was spent getting up on women. That was the key. That was it. You know, you could be the greatest, and we had a little, it's just the way black life was, black male life. You see, post-90s, post-mid-80s, 70s, 60s, you can be the greatest humanitarian you is, but motherfucker say, but he ain't getting none. That was the damn criteria. Serious business. You gonna say, that brother ain't cool, I really like this, he ain't getting none. That was the shit. Now I'm just telling you, this is reality on how this shit used to go down. You know what I'm saying? That nigga ain't getting none. It ain't got nothing to do with anything vulgar. It's trying to show you a trait that's going on here. They got 2 systems based on culture and based on music. It's all based on music. We came out of a time where the music that we listened to was directly related to the other species have. Whether it was Frankie Beverly, you see what I'm saying? Whether it was goddamn Tyrone Davis, Johnny Taylor, Isaac Hayes, you see what I'm saying? The Ohio players, whatever the shit you got to be singing about your damn honey. Some very white, it was based, the whole shit was geared towards the species half. That was the key. And as a result, they say life imitating art, art imitating life. The concept is because we was trained on that stuff when we was in high school and when I was in college, your main discourse was with the damn species half. That was numero uno. Yes, even when you hung with your boys, you was going to get some women. That's right. That was the culture. You see what I'm saying? And in so many words, even though we lived in a patriarchal society, it was more cultivating in our union. Although we was bombarded with all kinds of shit, male ego and all types of stuff. The black man was known as the lover. Come on. Now, two cultures is different. Rap is a homeboy, gang-hanging, oriented posse. They might talk about women, but it's always in the aspect of sex, but it's not a relationship based on love and a dialogue based on relationship. Two different systems. You see what I'm saying? The whole, one of the best rap love songs was "I Need Love," LL Cool J. You know what I'm saying? And that's a sorry example. The point I'm trying to make here is I'm trying to show you a difference in just a generation on how the patterns, your temperament can change. And I got the AU Center and other colleges as the doggone case study background. So because the music, if they was talking about the female, first of all, it's a male-dominated medium. You understand what I'm saying? Or what they call the genre is still 98% male-dominated. That's what rap was. You see what I'm saying? You only have a few sisters that got a foothold into it, but because it's a high turnaround, you in 2 years, you in a year, and you go. The sisters never was a main dominating factor in the rap. But the key here is the whole rap scenario is based on your partner, your homeboy. You see, it's a male, gang, fraternal oriented society. Okay? Now, as a result, it is given way to a culture, and I see this shit and I'm amazed. You go to that AU Center, if you got an inferiority complex, you better not turn on Fair Street if you were to have a sister. You better go to someplace where some sisters are in your league or whatever that you might feel that you might have some hope. Because when you go up there, you're going to see some of the most beautiful women every 5 seconds. I'm amazed. I mean, it is just like from blue-black to damn near white. You see what I'm saying? All the spectrums of black sisters is up at that AU Center. Even more so than even when I was there. And they had some beautiful ones there. But I'm noticing something. The culture is different. The brothers all hang with each other. And the sisters, they're with each other, but the cultures don't collide, and there ain't no such thing as no couples. It's amazing shit. And it's imitating the whole rap scenario. You'll see the brothers will be hanging out, and it be goddamn women, AKAs, all kind of ass, walking by.
Right. That's right.
And it's almost like it's not even affecting them. And they would be with the boys all day long, and the sisters would be walking by, and I'm like, damn. I'm saying shit, half of my time was getting up on the females. We would go and just, shit, we would do some shit like get locked up in the building at night. They have a library and say, look, go in the bathroom, and we get locked up at night. They lock the damn door. And me and the sister be in the damn library all night. She can't run nowhere because the damn door locked. some people coming in, and we come out the bathroom, and we go to the dormitory. We're doing shit like that. You know. But the whole pursuit, I'm just talking about a different culture based on the music. The music was about get with your damn woman. You see, some fucking Al Green.
Right.
You see, or whatever the deal was. I don't care what it was about your species half. You see what I'm saying? So, that was our entire pursuit. You see, even to the gateway to the culture, where, you know, the sisters go to college, go to the black schools to get married. But it was dealing with another culture. And even your boy, in his earlier writings, they cracked that nigga from Harvard with the afro, Cornell West. His earlier shit, he even dropped on that by Frankie Beverly and Mays and even Bootsy Collins. All this shit was still encoded into the music. Whereas we have seen over almost, well, we say rap started in '79, King Kim III, Fatback Man, Sugar Hill Gang, but it really started hyping in 1984 with Run DMC. That was the year they said this shit outsold Run DMC, Houdini, and them outsold Stevie Wonder. They said this is an upscale trend. So we talk about roughly about 16, 17 years as it heightened and escalated until they was able to kill off all the R&B. You see what I'm saying? All the R&B. And I don't know what this bling shit these girls is talking that shit. You think so, Mom? What's these girls on? Destiny's Child can fuck up some emotions? Are you crazy? The emotions? You know what I'm saying? Any people like that? You know, but the point I'm trying to make here is they have had a whole decade and a half of this stuff. And as a result, it's given way to a whole nother culture. Now the key here is, one of the keys to unlocking the destiny of black people and unlocking the keys to alchemy is it's got to be not just a relationship, a physical relationship, but not a relationship with your mate, but it's got to be a psychological way on how you feel about the damn black woman. That's the key. That's the way it is. Y'all can stay around in that punctified, all these other man-mechanic punctified religions, you're talking that he shit.
That's right.
But that's the key.
Yes, sir.
It ain't gonna go away nowhere. That is the Maya principle.
That's right.
And it ain't about a matter of saying we take care of our kids, our sisters. Oh, and oh sister, you divine, and oh sister, this. Those are words. I'm talking about your mentality, how you really feel about the sister psychologically. It's one thing to say that shit, that sounds good. You know, oh, you know, get the dope for the sister, we help out, we do this kind of shit, but I'm talking about some psychological shit when you close your goddamn door. You see what I'm saying? Because the key to the mysteries of the porthole is, can the male, in order for the Kundalini energy to rise, he has to demolish all aspects of a patriarchal mentality. This is central to this shit. It ain't gonna go away nowhere. You have, this is quintessential. You have to become woman. Bottom line. You see, if you understand what I'm talking about, you have to destroy the patriarchal principle. That is the only way that what is called the primordial heart comes into existence. That is the only way. Now, if you got a whole group of people that is oriented around a caveman style of being separate from the women, whereas the woman is only looked on as an object. You see what I'm saying? Hell, even country goddamn music, they sing about that woman.
That's right. Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? Because they got their shit from black gospel, and that whole bluegrass stuff went up a blues. The whole basis of American art form is based on, even the blues is based on, something that affected me, this woman got me fucked up inside.
That's right. Yes, sir.
Even the agony of how can I mend a broken heart? How can I mend? The whole concept is still related to this primordial principle, which is quintessential to African people.
That's right.
Okay? Now, you got a whole culture where as I'm looking over here and I'm like, damn. I said, man, I said, well, first of all, I said, well, shit, you know, yeah. Some of them are young enough to be, most of them are young enough to be my daughter now. But I'm not looking at it way, but I'm just distraught, just the behavior of these brothers. Look at this fine ass motherfucker walking here and you sitting up here talking some hip hop shit to me. Everybody cutting the damn album. You know what I'm saying? But it's a whole nother culture. And I'm trying to tell you this shit was by design. Because they knew that basically, because we didn't have shit, we still got up on our women. You see what I'm saying? We still got up on our women. That's the bottom line. We still got up on our damn sisters. So this is very key. It's a whole nother factor that they're dealing with. So you talk about youngsters. The damn youngsters is now got a whole alien civilization where they can't even deal with the sister on that damn level.
That's right.
You see what I'm saying? And there ain't no niggas here to teach you nothing. You see what I'm saying? This is the end of the world. Y'all all right? Okay. Go see the movie Tomb Raider. Because it's a movie about they're trying to get these two pieces that was left behind from Atlantis. These two type of alloy type of pyramids and put them together and sequence time travel. But in this movie, they are talking about the Illuminati. You know, like they had the movie X-Files. The one that came out in 98. 98, the one X-Files. In there, you just saw the men sitting around in a room with some American, some British. They just didn't mention nothing about no president of the United States, no CIA. They just went to these men in the room running shit. That ought to let you know who runs stuff. But in this movie, they literally said the Illuminati. And they showed women up in this, white women. They showed all that stuff up in there. And in the movie, her father was even in the Illuminati. And when they had to go get this piece, this sacred relic, they had, in order to get it, they had this big long obelisk. And they had to go into this hole. But it was a little obelisk. The obelisk was swinging and it wasn't hidden inside the hole. So she got on top of the big obelisk, or the big penis, and drew back and swung back 1 or 2 times and stroked that penis by riding that obelisk, and it hit dead center into that vesicle or the vagina. Very key. And that was, so the penis was the mystery of unlocking the mysteries of the universe. There was another one where they had these boats, these things that was trying to go to this particular part, to this sacred leftover part in Atlantis, and they put these dogs on these expensive snow ships. And the guy said, what do we need those dogs for? So the Tomb Raider girl put the dogs on there, and when they got to a certain point, they couldn't go any further. Then they had to get the dogs, and the dogs guided them on in. That's the whole concept of Anubis guiding the dead through the underworld. That's that whole concept. So a lot of people thought the movie was boring, people that didn't understand the symbology, but it was up in there. Now, the other movie is AI. Gotta see the movie. Now, the key here is, you're not gonna get it because, what's the name flipped the script on the movie? Steven Spielberg. In the movie, based on our teachings, when we go to see the thing, you're gonna think the European is the artificial intelligence.
Come on.
But in this thing, they flipped the script. The artificial intelligence in the movie, and it makes sense, is black people. They're not talking about the original people, they're talking about a people that was made, a new people, by the white man. That's us. We know we are an ancient people, that we ought to have no connection to that past if you're not conscious, but we are made a new people. All like Muhammad would talk about that. We are a new people. We have been made a new people. So the artificial intelligence in the movie is black people. Now, in the movie, the main figure, the whole key is he was made to get back to his mother. That's the whole movie, is he spent the entire movie trying to get love to his mother. That's the black man, or that's the ancient primordial principle of trying to get back to the great mother. The Eros, Boros. You see what I'm saying? Kimberly talked about that in the conference, about trying to get back, in the Eric Newman's book, trying to get back to the great mother. So his whole concept, the little boy, was trying to get back to the great mother. Now the key here is, watch the older guy who was a robot that was made simply to screw women. Had a little shitty click his neck, the music cut on. He said, once you get with me, you never go back. You know they talking about a black man. But he started turning to him and said, if you watch everything he says, he sounds just like a brother saying it. He said, you know they're jealous of us because we are better than them in what we do. And in the movie, when the robots no longer serve the purpose, they put them in a big old ring and they kill them off like gladiators. You see what I'm saying? Or how they do you call NBA, NFL. You see what I'm saying? Boxing. Whatever making you look like a fool. You see what I'm saying? You hear me the damn black, you hear me the white coaches? The white coaches that coach NBA, you know what they call the NBA? No brains allowed. You see what I'm saying? No brains allowed. You see what I'm saying? But then again, shit. You know, hell, I don't even damn nobody say, fucking Shaquille O'Neal can get a college degree. Shit, you better goddamn monitor education. If there ever been somebody a little above mental retardation, it's fucking Shaquille O'Neal. It would be funny with this damn mess here. He got a lot of damn money and all that kind of shit. But if that nigga didn't run no basketball, you wouldn't dare tell your child to run after that fool. You see what I'm saying? Come off this shit. There's something about your models y'all gotta get right, like a goddamn Kobe Bryant. This idiot marries a white girl. And got the her nerve to have a commercial where he's trying to do some philosophy. Talk creativity. Come on, man. That shit is a joke. You know it's a joke. In this damn movie, if you follow the movie, and in the movie, the first person they got that gets killed in the movie is a robot with Chris Rock's face on it and Chris Rock's voice. They shoot this nigga out of cannon and he hit these jail bars and his face starts to melt. And while his face melting, that nigga still telling jokes. Just like a doggone Negro. He's still telling jokes. And his face is melting all over. Now, one of the kids in the movie is the little boy starts to eat. They're eating vegetables because it's all vegetarian. The little boy starts to eat. And his face starts drooping and he shuts down. And so the whole concept here is not necessarily, they're saying in the movie that one of the missions is food itself, period, kills. You know the whole concept, the less you eat, the more you live. It don't matter what you eat. You see, food kills. And in the movie they dropped that. But in the movie, he was trying to get for his mother love, he was trying to get to some blue mermaid or something. That blue, although it had a white face, represented the blue-black goddess. Because it was a feminine principle. So they had all the stuff up in the movie. You gotta go check that particular movie out. Y'all right? Now, I want to get into a couple of things right here. Few things. They got the movie Atlantis. Now, I didn't get a chance to see it, but they say it's dropping a lot of science. But I know the chief woman up in there is a black woman. Because the voice is played by Cree Summer, which used to be Freddie off of A Different World. And she played the woman in the Atlantis movie. But it's interesting, when they talk to her, I just say, well, maybe she's still, they always have white people that have the black voice behind them. But what she said no, it was definitely an interracial relationship of some guy traveling to Atlantis. Well, they did that whole thing, but they were still saying that the Atlanteans were black. Now, it's interesting because I wish I could take this thing. I'm trying to find somebody that got it. About a week before the movie came out, Atlantis, they had a show on ABC about Atlantis, the lost continent of Atlantis. Well, one of the mysteries, which I had figured out, but every time I figure out something, I always found a book to deal with. There's a book called Beyond the Big Bang. Can't think it's a purple book. Beyond the Big Bang. And they had figured out that Atlantis was this pre-physical land that now still exists in the subconscious. So, Amenta, which is the dark side of the subconscious, is Atlantis. Also, we proved and the other thing, Atlantis, the word Atlantis, that Crowley had done the etymological work, means black woman. The word Atlantis means black woman. Now, but if there was a pre-physical civilization, when the physical civilization came in, the first part of the physical civilization had still to have been called Atlantis, Lemuria, and these African civilizations prior to the normal African civilization that we have. Okay? Now this is the key. This is the key. So if that was true, that means there was a place that the Egyptian priests and all them said was this African or this ancient civilization. So in the movie, in the actual episode of the TV special, they traced this thing back and they did all this work and they did all this stuff based on Plato's description and all this stuff. And they said the reason why they couldn't find nothing in the past years because they was trying to look for land up underwater. But they said if Atlantis had huge mountains, as was described by Plato, and Plato got it from an Egyptian priest, then only thing they would have to do is look to some mountains that would line up, because the mountain, although it sank, the level of land now would be the top of the mountains, which would be the regular land. So they said the only thing they had to do was look for some mountains that lined up with Plato's description, and boom, it was accurate with Cuba. Well, isn't it interesting that it's Cuba, and then we had this whole thing for the last 40 years with Cuba. It had shit to do with communism for the simple doggone fact. Hell, they both, I mean, they have always been friends with the doggone, with the Russians. But, so, they say it's Cuba. So they saying that they gotta go and they was fishing off the water. They was finding all kinds of types of relics that they couldn't date in known history. And so the Cubans said, well, since you all our enemies, they got the Russians over there, they got the French, they got all kind of people over there in Cuba can come in there and been working and digging up this stuff. But except the Americans. You see what I'm saying? But it was very interesting that they would put that particular part in there, in that particular TV special. But I haven't gone and seen the actual the movie yet on Atlantis. Okay.
Hey, Bobby.
A couple of things we're gonna deal with because we got a lot of good stuff to actually deal with.
Yeah, we're gonna change the tape, right?
Okay, yeah. Okay, all right. Going back. Now, my point here is this. Now they got this movie called Baby Boy. Now they done gave it 4 stars and all this stuff. But my point is this. Either we are buffoons or something now. Look. Now I saw the damn movie 10 years ago when it was called Boys in the Hood. Don't give a damn what the scenario is. Black people need to see themselves in some groundbreaking scenarios that ain't stuck in the same MO. Ain't stuck in the same mode. You see, okay, it was cute when it was Boys in the Hood, introducing somebody to a scenario in the hood. You got the colors, you got different ones. But there was a whole string of them shit, Men into Society, New Jack City or whatever. But my point here is, here's a man that does Rosewood, which was groundbreaking. All of a sudden, I don't give a damn if boys, they say the movie is a good movie. But I'm saying, yeah, it could be a good movie. You can have a good buggy wheel, but the motherfucker can be obsolete. Nobody's riding around in buggies no more. So the point I'm trying to make here is, see, it's a psychological thing that they're dealing with here. And Hollywood is well aware of what's going on. My point here is 2001. 2001. Now don't get me wrong, because they do this shit in 10-year period. They did it twice. So 2001, same John Singleton, who makes Boys in the Hood. 2001 makes Baby Boy. Right. I don't something. But I'm trying to look at this thing because it's the way they do things. So they give you Boys in the Hood, 1991. They give you Baby Boy, 2001. See, they always do it in cycles. They give you Color Purple, where ain't a damn positive, no person in the damn movie, 1985. They give you Waiting to Exhale, 1995. You see, where ain't no positive person anywhere. Not a positive black man, ain't a positive black woman. See what I'm saying? This is a cycle. So he ended up, wait a minute, hold on, this nigga did Baby Boy 10 years ago. You see? But they're already expecting you to go flock to the movies to go see this bullshit. You're supposed to be in protest with this shit. You see what I'm saying? Like I told you, anytime John Singleton is in his damn 30s, and anytime 220 years will give you Goodwill Hunting. You see what I'm saying? White boy stuff. Ain't no way in hell you gonna give me some fucking Baby Boy with a motherfucking Tyrese and the goddamn Snoop Doggy Dogg who ain't made a hit album in 10 fucking years. I ain't having it. That's some tired junk going down. You see, but see, that's a monitoring thing that the movie studios is doing just to see where your mind is. You see what I'm saying? This is coming out along Tomb Raider. You see what I'm saying? Hell, this little white girl here's in her early 20s. Along with damn Tyrese and Snoop Dogg down near 30, he doing a Baby Boy shit. You see, they got Atlantis, and you talking about, oh, that's no, you look at what the goddamn white people is into, and what they sending their children to see. You see, and it's the same old bullshit going on over and over again. Now you got a damn Baby Boy and a motherfucking pootie cake. But I heard that shit was dropping, but then again, we don't need no more movies. See, that's talking down to you. We don't need no more movies telling you how you don't need to be on no drugs. You already know that shit. Hell, Nancy Reagan told you that shit 15 years ago. And your mama told it to you 30 years ago. You know what I'm saying? That's talking down to you. Talking about some damn baby boy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm in protest for all these damn movies. These black movies seem to have the same trait. The baddest shit you got was doggone Bamboozle. Talking shit about the Hollywood. But basically the movie was about how niggas will do anything in Hollywood. You see what I'm saying? Now they got a movie out called Bedazzled. Check the movie out. Bedazzled.